Hi guys, welcome to another movie review, and today we'll be reviewing Oloture, The Journey. So this is part two of a movie, and of course it's an Ebony Live production. What you would expect from an Ebony Live production is absolute quality. It's quality in terms of casting, in terms of production, and location as well is something you'd always expect that they would deliver on and you get the best on, right? Uh, so Oloture The Journey is part two of an actual movie called Oloture as well, and it's about a journalist that has put herself into a whole lot of trouble, and it's unclear how she's going to get out of that trouble. So I would recommend that you watch part one. That should be on Netflix as well because this is also on Netflix. The part one was an amazing story. I really thoroughly enjoyed the movie. Part one, Omo that was in it, and as expected, stellar performance from Obonyoboli, um, Ikechukwu. Several solid actors were on the project, right? As always, Ebony Life has that on a lockdown. So, what is it about the part two? And this is what we're going to be reviewing. So, the part two is a continuation of the part one, obviously, and the story continues from when Oloture, who is an undercover journalist, has been captured and is now being trafficked across the desert to Europe, right? So up until now, no one actually knows that she is an investigative journalist, right? And she's still maintaining character. You see, the thing is with this part two is for the life of me, I wonder why she's still on this journey. That part is so unclear. But she's still on the journey and she's still hoping to be a groundbreaking amount pole kind of journalist at the cost of your life. Girl, is it worth it? So she's still on this journey. She's in a bus filled with girls. I'm sorry, spoiler alert. She's in a bus filled with girls and they're on a journey to God knows where, right? Why? Why are you there? Try to find your way home. Providence has created several avenues and opportunities for you to actually turn around and go back home. But you see, this girl, she has coconut head. Her coconut head is a coconut head, meaning her coconut head is coconut head raised to the power two. For Christ's sake, girl, you gonna die. You gonna die. The summary of this is people just have coconut head, like, and it's actually like a real thing. So a general review, what do I think about the whole movie, the whole series, because it's actually a couple of series for this one, and I want to strongly believe that there's still more series that will be released at some point. So this is part one of part two of Oloture The Journey, right? So is it worth the watch? It's a slow build, and a slow build in the sense that the story seems to be taking its time to unfold. So you'd have to be very patient and curb your irritation for the character story and how they responded to certain situations, right? Number two, the casting is brilliant. The quality of actors cannot be faulted because the pimps were pimping and the madams were madaming. The evil was eviling. Like people just were just bad. Femi, Femi, you have come again. The Femi character in this movie, I'm not going to say your real name because I refuse to believe that that's how you are in person, but you embodied that role and I did not like it, but I love you. I love you. The character quality, the character interpretation was top notch. Again, what I have a problem with is the dumbness of the characters. Is it the storyline that should be flogged? You know, it was dragging. Their characters were very dense. They did not They did not have common sense. Again, I get the part that it might be based on the imagination of the story writer, in the sense that when you are desperate for something like, jack buying, leaving your country, getting greener pastures, you just feel like there's only one road ahead. And in this case is journeying across the desert, where you're seeing corpses to the left, to the right. Is it actually worth it, is the question. For the life of me, I could not really relate with that kind of desperation, because life is precious. So at what cost? And you don't even know whether when you get to your destination you are going to make it or not. It's just, a question mark and if. And so many lives were lost. But it also showed kind of camaraderie that could be born out of a very tough situation, right? And that was very beautiful to see, and I greatly admired it, right? Will I recommend for you to watch? I would say wait until the final part comes out to kind of like watch it as a whole series. I would also say, Sharon, poverty does not fit you. Poverty does not fit Sharon in any way, but she ate up her role. She ate up her role as being this desperate information or junkie, undercover journalist that just wants to uncover that big story, but at what cost? Her acting was so believable. I mean, it was like, I felt like slapping her at some point, I felt like crying at some other point. Beverly's character is my bone of contention here, because I feel like a lot more could have been done to build her character and create a more versatile and a more vibrant role for her supporting acts, because it just felt like there was a lot that could have been said for her character, and there was a major part that her character could have played in influencing Oloture's character, but that was not done. So that's my bone of contention in this whole shenanigan, yeah. And lastly, I would say that I would recommend, based on the fact that a lot of your faves were in this, a lot of actors that you can just be sure that their delivery is going to be top notch and just so beautiful, right? And yeah, the only thing I would say is you should probably wait for the second bit of it to be released before you watch it. So watch it as a whole series, as a whole context, because right now I've watched the first part of it and there's just like a question mark hanging in my head, like, is this it? So what happened? I have so many unanswered questions. So on that basis, I will wait until there is the final part and I can review it and give it my honest and holistic, wholesome review as a whole before I rate it any kind of mark. But if you're like me and you're impatient and you can't wait a minute, I would say you can start watching it, but don't judge. Don't judge. Just start off and allow it build, right? And feel free to insult the characters because I did, and I have no regrets, because indeed it showed the world as a very wicked place, a place where you need to be very careful, in decisions and all. You need to sometimes count the cost of decisions you're making. Is it worth it? At what expense to myself, to my family, and all of that. Bookie's character, the sister of one of the girls that died initially, she's like the most stupid of them all, because you run from a problem and then you run back into that problem. Make that make sense? So I would say you could start it, but I would recommend that you wait for the second part. I will tell you when the second part of this series is released and we can have like a little watch party together, you know. But yes, so at this point, that's a review I have on the first part of Oloture the Journey. I sincerely hope there's a part 2 of this to make it a whole series. And till then, catch ya. Bye.